Our next speaker is Dennis McNichol. Dennis is a senior loan officer, senior mortgage officer with Sovereign Bank.
I apologize for screwing up your morning, but Mike told me it was at Media Fellowship. So I'm blaming Mike on this, but I think what he did was he wanted me to sit through the whole seminar to show what he has to go through. Okay, so I empathize with you guys now because you've been sitting here for 4 hours. All right, but the one thing is, one of the gentlemen said before, it's smart, this is the best time to buy a house, okay? Because there's a lot out there and the interest rates are low. The smartest thing you guys are doing is you're here and you're learning how to buy a house, but the big thing is you're getting $5,000, okay? If you told me that you'd give me $5,000, I would run naked down 9th Street, okay? It wouldn't be a pretty sight, but I would still do it for $5,000, all right? The one facet, I never was offered the $5,000 when I bought my house. And one of the things, whenever you go to a seminar, or just as you had today, everybody's here and they're telling you what they can do for you, how great they are, what they've done, etc. When I go to a seminar, I want someone to sit there and tell me the truth. Basically, I got into the business because I got shafted. All right? I got into the mortgage business not because I was shafted, because the guy says I could make a lot of money. So I jumped at that. But also, when I bought my house, I got shafted. Everything that you could do wrong, I did wrong. So you're gonna learn from my mistakes. I will tell you everything that you should do, okay, that I did not do. All right? So that's how I'm gonna work out. And one thing that I wanna say, is the insurance man said, you will see your realtor later on down the line. You might see that. You will see your mortgage man down the line. Michael, have you seen your mortgage man recently? Okay, I did Mike's mortgage, so that's why I know that. Okay? It's not, the facet is if you have a problem with your house, a lot of times you can call your realtor. Say, hey, this screwed up. Okay? If you have a problem with your mortgage, there's a thing, call us. We will handle that problem for you. Alrighty? So it's not just your insurance man that will see you all the time. When he sees you all the time, he might be selling you another product. That's all. Okay? What I want to tell you is the way to buy a house, the easiest way and the smartest way. Okay? Which is good for you since you're first-time home buyers. All right? We're going to be looking at the state bond money, PHFHA. Now there's some information in the back there that you can read. All right? It is good information. All the stuff that you were given today is good information. It is, as Vance gave you with the mortgage information and note, everything to read. It will put you to sleep though. It's boring stuff. It's legalese. I tried to break it down on easy stuff to read, how to make it. All right? When you go for a house, when you go for a mortgage, we're going to look for 5 things. Okay? We're going to look at your credit, income, assets, liabilities, and the house that you are buying. The way I like to look at it, it's just like it's a basketball team. You have 5 players on a basketball team, you have 5 things we're going to look at. On the basketball team, not everybody is a superstar. You don't have a Kobe Bryant at every position. However, you have somebody that's going to help out. So if you have one person that's very good, or one person that's a little bad, needs help from another person. Okay? Just as if your credit is great, it can help out if your income is a little low. Or it can help out if you have a lot of liabilities. All right? If you're not putting that much money down on a house, great credit will help that out. Or if you have a great income, that will help out if your credit is not good. Okay? If anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask them. All right? As I say, we're looking at the PHFHA, first-time home buyer. Now, one of the mistakes, and a good thing that since Mike made me stay, I could listen to what everybody said. And let me clarify one thing. When Jamie was here, and she said you have to have the 3% into the house. And on a $100,000 house, that's $3,000. That's wrong. All you need is $1,000. Okay? So who has $1,000 here? Okay. You have $1,000, or you can get $1,000. you can get a house. Okay? That's the big factor that you have to look at. What I'm going to teach you is Finance 101. Does anybody know what Finance 101 is? Pardon? Now, Finance 101 is use someone else's money. Okay? That's what we're going to do. We're going to use someone else's money to buy a house. Does anybody know why you buy a house?
Tax break.
Tax break? Now, it's very simple.
To build a network.
To what?
Build a network.
It's simple. Why do you buy a house? Somewhere to live. You have to have a place to live. Okay? That's the important thing. When we talk mortgages, everybody has the fear factor. They're afraid to get a mortgage. It's very simple. The questions we ask are very simple. It's black and white. Okay? I ask you, why do you buy a house? It's you need a place to live. Whereas one of my clients said he needs a place to bring the girlfriend back to. All right? So you have to look like that. You need a place to live. That's why we do that. As I say, part on Finance 101, we're going to use someone else's money. We're using Michael's money. We're going to use the state's money, and we're going to use the seller's money. Okay? We look at your credit first off. Credit's the most important thing now. Credit is king. If you have great credit, you can do whatever you want. All right? If you have a very high credit score, I'll go with you. We can go rob the 7-Eleven on 47th and Market Street, and I'll still give you a loan right after we take it. I'll still give you the mortgage. I always use the same guy because I do not like the man. All right? So we have to look at their credit. We're going to look at your credit score. All right? Now, a lot of people, they have the fear factor, oh, my credit's bad. All right, if your credit's bad, you have to build it up because you cannot do anything with poor credit. All right? I have forms back there to help you out. I can run your credit for you and tell you what you have to do to increase your credit scores. Okay? One good factor, though, is you'll hear people say, oh, they're not giving loans out to people because their credit's too bad. One of the facets with the FHA and the first-time home buyer program, they're not looking at credit scores so much. Okay? They're not going to, if you do a conventional loan, if your credit isn't over 620, you don't get a loan. Okay? The FHA isn't looking at that. Now, however, if your credit score is 400, they're not going to give you the loan. Okay? Think of it like this. We are going to give you $100,000 or $150,000. Okay? We're doing that for you. Would you give me $1,000? Why not? I'm a nice guy. I have a nice smile just like you do. Why won't you give me $1,000?
That was the gift.
Okay, neither do I. Okay? Well, that's the thing. That's what we're trying to do. It's the same facet. Okay? When we're going to say, okay, does your credit, what does credit show? What's credit worthiness? What does that mean? Does anybody know? I'm going to start picking on people. Yes, back there yawning. Bingo, that's all it is. I lent you money, I'm going to pay it back. Vance gave you a form, the note. All the note says, I borrowed $100,000 off you, I promise to pay you back. Okay? That's the factor. That's what it is. All right? That's what you're paying. I promise to pay it back. Okay? So if you have a high credit score, that means that you borrowed money from somebody else and you paid them back. All right? If you have a low score, that means that you borrowed money and you didn't pay it back. So it's on the same facet. You didn't pay it back to him, are you going to pay it back to me now? Okay? Let's think of that. All right? But as I say, if there's problems in your credit, I will show you and help you out on how to straighten out your credit or build your credit score back up. Okay? Question? Just like raise the hand. Okay? Does anybody have questions on that? Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a card?
Yes, back there. Okay. All right, so we're working on that. So we're going to look at your credit first. As I say, credit is king. Credit, it's like winning. It soothes all ills. It's the easiest thing going. If you have great credit, you can do a lot. All right, income. What we're going to do, we're going to look at your income to see if you can qualify for the loan. Can you afford the house? All right? So when we look at your income, what we're gonna do is we wanna look at the minimum, the past 2 years of what you've done. All right? So if you're a truck driver for Acme, we wanna make sure that you've been there at least 2 years. How are we gonna do that? We're gonna look at your W-2s. Past 2 years W-2s. If you're telling me you make $40,000 a year driving a truck for Acme, I want to see that you've had that for the past 2 years. Next, to make sure that you're still employed, I want to see 1 month's pay stubs. That's showing that you're still employed and you're still getting that $40,000 a year. Now, if you're getting any other income, you have to show me where it's coming from. You're a trust fund baby, you have to show me your stock certificates, you have to show me your dividends that you're going to be receiving. All right? If you're getting child support, you have to show me that you're going to get it for the next 3 years. You're going to show me your child support agreement. All right? Show me that you're going to get it for the next 3 years. And we are going to look for a birth certificate on the child or children because we want to make sure if you say they're 6, birth certificate's proving that it's 6. We're going to show that going through with that. Okay. If you're getting Social Security or disability, once again, you have to show you're going to get it for the next 3 years. You have a Social Security award letter. Take that to show that. And if you have if it's a disability, you have to get a letter from the doctor saying that it's going to continue for 3 years. Okay? Anything you tell us that you make, you have to show us. All right? If you can't duplicate it, you didn't do it. Basically, if you sit there and tell me, I made $40,000 a year driving a truck, if you didn't show it, if you can't show it with the W-2, you didn't make it. Right? Assets. We want to see where your money's coming from. As I said, you need $1,000 here. So you're going to show me any checking or savings accounts that you're going to tap into. If you have a checking account with Sovereign, I need your past 2 months. Does anybody know why we're looking at that?
Basically see where your money is coming from and how regular it's coming in.
Very good. Shows a savings pattern. Okay? If you have any large deposits, and a large deposit is anything over your weekly or bi-weekly paycheck, you have to tell us where that money came from. All right? You cannot all of a sudden have $1,000, and then have a $3,000 deposit. We're going to want to know where that money came from. Yes, ma'am?
When you're checking income, why do they look at the gross instead of what you're actually making? Especially like a gap between.
Because mortgage companies are stupid on that. Okay? That's basically what it is. If anybody didn't hear it, we looked at, she makes $40,000 a year. In actuality, she's only bringing home about $28,000. We do not look at their taxes. And I'll get into that later on about when we qualify for you and what you have to do when you look for your house. Okay? It's a very stupid thing that we do. Okay? As I was saying with your assets and what we looked at, if you have your checking account, we want to see your past 2 months. It says 1 of 4 pages, we want to see all 4 pages. Even if page 3 and 4 are blank, we still want to see that. Young lady here is selling stock. We want to see her stock account. Okay? You're getting a letter from Michael saying you're getting $5,000. You have the media fellowship form that you sign and fill out, and you say you've passed the classes. You send us that. That shows you $5,000. Okay? Anything where the money's coming from, you have to show us. If you're getting a gift from your cousin, your brother, your mother, we have to see a gift letter, and then we have to see where their money is coming from. So if they're giving you money from a Sovereign savings account, they have to show us that they have the money in the account, or they just get a letter saying, Joe Jones has enough money to give this gift. Yes?
My father recently retired, so he got a large amount of money. And he's going to be giving me a gift. But he had put a lot of money into the stocks, and he's going to be taking some of that money that he's made and giving that to me. So how do you prove that just by
The easiest thing would be to get a letter, if he is a stockbroker or whatever, the stockbroker would write a letter saying he has enough funds to give you a gift.
Okay.
That's all. That would be the way I would work it. Yep, that's all. Okay? Any other questions? All right, so we're looking at, as we said, credit, income, your assets, now your liabilities. Your liabilities, we're looking whatever comes off the credit reports. Okay? You have a Visa account, Sears, MasterCard, car loans, student loans, whatever on the credit report. Now, what you have to remember is going to be the minimum payment, which is good for you, because if you have a Visa card, you owe Visa $1,000, it's only $10. Now, don't sit there and tell me I pay $100 each month. If I write that down, now you're charged with $100. Just tell us what the minimum payment is. You know, you have a car loan, you tell us what that is. Okay? As the young lady was saying here, it's a little stupid, some of the things we look at or what we don't look at. We don't look at the facts of if you put your child in a private school or a Catholic school where you have to pay for tuition. We don't put that down. We don't put down the facts of your bills, your electric, phone, anything along those lines. We don't look at that, which is foolish. We do look, if you tell us that you pay child support, we will add that in. However, your grandmother's always taking care of the children. Okay, so you don't have that child support. All right, that monthly payments. All right, you don't want to say that because that's going to go against you. All right, so that's your liabilities. Then we're going to look at the house. We're going to send an appraiser out. The appraiser is the eyes and ears for the underwriter. He or she's going to go out and say, you're buying a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. It's costing you $110,000. Right around the corner, similar house, just sold 2 months ago, the exact same price. We're down the street, house, similar house, just sold for $110,000. They're going to make sure that the house is worthwhile, it's worth its value. Okay, tough thing that you have to look at now is that some of the houses are not holding their value. They've gone down in value. Okay? So the appraiser will tell us if you're buying in an area where it's a declining value. Now that's going to help you out also if you're negotiating for the house. That's all. Okay? Anybody have questions?
So, do you ever get qualified with disqualified with the first time?
You'll get disqualified now. You're going to get disqualified if you don't actually qualify for the loan. All right? Which is basically what we're going to look at. As I say, we look at those 5 factors. Now what we do is we take your monthly payments, your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance payments, and we divide that by your monthly income. So what you're looking at, let's say on a $100,000 house, if you're buying in Gollingdale, your monthly payment will be about $900, $950. Okay? Divide that by your income. You're making $40,000 a year, divided by $3,334. Okay? So our Friday ratio is going to be below 30%. Okay, so she's good with that. Now we're going to find her back end ratio. We're going to add her principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, plus her monthly debt. So if she has a car loan and a student loan totaling up to $400, that's $950 plus $400, $1,350 divided by 33, 34. Okay. That has to be below 41. Okay. That's how you're qualifying for the loan. Now it's also if her credit is good. If your credit is bad and works through, you will be disqualified for the loan. Okay. Is that answering your question a little bit? Now, that's a good quick qualification. That's the numbers I'm going to look at. What you have to look at is when you sit there and you say, I'm buying a house now. You're in the mentality of buying a home. What you have to sit there and say is, how much money can I afford a month to pay for a house? That's what you have to do. Now, when you do that, you have to sit there and say, how much money do I bring home a month? If you're bringing home $3,300, now you have to take out the taxes. Okay, so instead of $3,300, maybe you're only bringing home $2,800. Now, from the $2,800, let's take out our monthly living expenses. All right, we have $2,800. We have a car loan of $400. Now we're down to $2,400. How much does it cost to put gas in a car? All right? You know, it used to be $100. Now it's $200. So now we're down to $2,200 a month that we have in money for our house. Food. How much you spend on food a month? $200. Now we're to $2,000. Phone bill. Everybody has a phone. So now we're down to $1,900. Electricity, heat in the house. Let's say that's another $300. Now you're down to $1,600. Okay? So you have $1,600 to buy in the house. If you have any other entertainment, any other entertainment, food, whatever, you put there. Now you have to look to see, this is how much money I can spend on my house. That is your budget. That's what you have to budget on. All right? So when you're looking at your house and you're saying, all right, what house can I buy? What's going to be this? That's what you have to look at. Okay? You have to think ahead and plan ahead with that. And also look on something. If you're going from an apartment to a house, your electricity may go up. All right?